When you start a new project, typically you need things like a domain name, hosting, things like that. When I choose hosting, I pick mine for the options it gives. I like to know what I'm getting and set things up just how I like them. This is why for your projects, you should check out Linode. Linode servers feature native SSD storage, a 40 gigabyte network, and Intel E5 processors. That's all the power you need to run VMs under full control, or Docker containers, who doesn't love that, encrypted disks, and VPNs. Plus, they have 10 data centers across the world and add-ons like backups, Node Balancer, and Longview to help you control your server costs. They also offer block storage for your static files, and you can get started with a $20 credit if you use the code JavaScriptJabber2018. That credit is good for 4 months on their 1 gigabyte server. That's a lot of time to try them out and see if they're the right fit for you. That code again is JavaScriptJabber2018. Also, if you're interested in working for Linode, they're hiring. Head to linode.com/careers to see their available positions. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another Adventures in Angular. This week on our panel, we have Alyssa Nicoll.
Hey, hey.
I'm Charles Max Wood from devchat.tv, and this week we have a special guest, and that's Shmuela Jacobs.
Hi there. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Now, we had you on a couple weeks ago. Do you want to just remind everybody who you are and why you're world famous?
Wow, am I world famous? That's really great. Well, the organization that I founded, ngGirls, is pretty well known, I guess. So ngGirls is an organization where we try to increase diversity in tech, and it's mainly about Angular because I love Angular so much, and I think that it's a good platform to start with because it has become so simple to write web applications, and the tooling is so great, and maybe, I don't know if most importantly, but very, very important is the community, which is so welcoming and helpful. So with ngGirls Workshop, we invite women who have little experience in coding, and we invite them to get into web development with Angular. And they do a tutorial, they follow a tutorial, and build their very first web application, which is a to-do list, with the help of mentors who volunteer for this. So it's a free workshop, and we have it all over the world since November 2016. We've recently had one as part of ngConf, and the next one is going to be at Google I/O. And
Oh, wow.
we have many more plans. Yeah. And we want to have more and more workshops all over the world. And it's something that if someone wants to organize this, then just be in touch with me, talk to me, and I'll guide you through this. We will put the details on our website, and you will manage the registration and finding a place, of course.
Yeah, I recently took part in my first one at ngConf. I was a mentor, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool too. I got to go through the curriculum and I explained things. It was one person on one side of me. She was from Java. She had some Java experience, and so things like classes. She was like, "Oh yeah, this makes sense," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then the person on the left side of me, she was just like, what? All of this, classes and decorators were totally new, but HTML she understood. Whereas the Java one, she needed help with she's like, wait, what's an element? So it was really an interesting back and forth. But I just had so much fun getting to know them throughout the day, and hearing their stories, and hooking up with them on Twitter in case they have any questions as they continue learning more and more. So I really loved it.
So did you explain to them that we make it hard on purpose?
No, I just did my best to fill in the gaps, because there were some strange gaps on the right and then some strange gaps on the left that were it was really funny how we could have made the course to really adapt for one person, but then you would have totally missed the other person. So it's very interesting. But I had a blast. So, hey, Joe. we've got Joe joining us here live from his studio in, where are you? Utah.
Hey there.
Yeah, ever been here, Alyssa?
Once or twice.
Yeah, I've heard of Utah too. I should go visit there someday.
But what? You haven't been there for NGConf?
I grew up here.
I'm thinking that's his sarcasm. I'm hoping that's his sarcasm.
Oh my
Because
God.
I'm like that, or he's been hit on the head.
Yeah, I grew up here in Utah.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Chuck's never left the state. He's literally never been outside of Utah.
Never.
He's
Never
on the
ever.
no-fly list, so
Well, they have a no even go near the airport list.
he's on that one. All the bordering states have warrants out for his arrest. None of the other states in the country, but just the bordering ones.
Just the ones that border Utah.
Yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
then the no-fly list, so it's really a catch-22 for him.
Yeah, I get really creative when I travel. Anyway, so one thing that I'm curious about, Shmuela, and I don't think we had a chance to talk about this on our last episode about ngGirls, is how you came up with it.
It came from my experience with other organizations like that, because I wasn't really born into coding like many other people. And even though my father tried to teach me a little bit, and my brother is really great at coding, I tried some stuff around, but I always felt like it's not really for me until I actually tried it during my studies in the university, and I was looking for the communities to be a part of, because it's really helpful to do this with other people, to have someone to help you to ask questions. And I got to know organizations like Django Girls, and also Google Code F. They did a mentorship program, and Rails Girls, and Women Who Code, and so on. But specifically, Django Girls really had an impact on me, because they really got me into writing code a whole day, creating a product. I think it was a blog post that I wrote in Django. That's Python, if you're not familiar with that. And I was sitting there with a group of other girls. We were sitting with mentors, and the mentors were so nice. So I remembered this experience. And then when I started getting into Angular, I loved it so much. And I started thinking, hey, is there anything like that for Angular? And they said, hey, no, well, let's just do this. Let's just book a place, which was the Google campus here in Israel, in Tel Aviv. They give the space for free for workshops and meetups like that. And let's promote this on Facebook and in the universities. And let's try to do the same. So it worked. And I was really amazed by this. Like, we had lots of participants who came, who really wanted to learn. And we have had lots of mentors who were really into this. I think maybe I did mention this last time in our other talk, that the tutorial itself was also written by the community. So it's a whole amazing experience of how the community is willing to share, how much people want to volunteer for teaching something they love, and for helping each other, and how the people from the community also want to learn and want to get into this cool platform called Angular, or web development, or just development, because you can do such amazing stuff with it. Like, you realize that almost any idea that you have in mind, you can just code it, and you'll have a working solution for whatever you need, a working product. You can do really cool things. It's a really relatively simple way to create things that you have in mind. So that's the story. That's how it all began.
That's awesome.
And then, of course, I saw that it's going so well. So I saw that people really enjoyed this, and I started talking to conference organizers to start doing this workshop as part of the conference. So this way we've had events all around the world, and I've met people who were willing to help and willing to organize a workshop by themselves, and willing to be mentors or to help improving the tutorial. And that's also how I met Robert Willermellet. He's from Berlin, and he's been organizing ngGirls workshops with me for more than a year now. I'm very happy that it's something that the community can really join and spread around.
So when you formed ngGirls, had you already been doing Angular professionally for a while then, or was
Yes.
this something that you did to learn yourself?
Well, I've been doing angular.js mostly at the time, because Angular was only released a few months before the first event. I think right after, like a few days after I decided to organize the first ngGirls workshop. So I hadn't had a lot of experience with Angular back then. I've had some, and I saw that it's relatively simple to start with. So I think a part of the process for me learning Angular was also getting ready for this workshop. And so the way it was, I actually did the to-do list application by myself. I wrote it, and the way I thought someone would get into this project would write it. So I did commits of each step that I took, and then with the help of friends of the community as part of a meetup, we just wrote the chapters of the tutorial for each commit. So it was also a learning experience for me, but I couldn't have done this without knowing Angular at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's so much to learn in Angular still. I learn every day, and it keeps on evolving, and I'm really happy to see with every release new improvements and new options that you can do, and that can help you make your application even better and your experience more delightful when you're coding.
Now, we just recently had ngGirls at ngConf, right?
Yes.
And you were unable to attend. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you usually go to most of the ngGirls, or has it started becoming more common that you don't go to all of them?
It started becoming more common, very common. Well, I wish I could be there, but maybe you can hear the voices, the weird voices here. Yeah. So I've just had a baby, and so I've missed a few conferences abroad. So I just let other people manage this, organize this, and it's more than just coming to the event to be there. It's managing all the applications, all the participants, writing emails, answering their questions. So it's a lot of work. So as I mentioned, Robert has been helping me a lot with that for the past year. And with every event, there are more people who are helping out. So if it's the event organizers, the conference organizers like yourself at ngConf, you've been very helpful. And other people who are just there. So at ngConf, we've had Bonnie, who really took over this event and organizing the ngGirls workshop. In other scenarios are workshops that happen in really remote places around the world. So we've just recently had an ngGirls workshop in Pakistan, which is, I think it's amazing. I saw the pictures from there, all the motivated women that were just so concentrating in the workshop. And in cases like that, I can't go to Pakistan. That's, politics and stuff, maybe Robert can be there next time. But the organizer, Zainab, she just contacted me. She heard about ngGirls and she said that she really wants to have a workshop and that they have an Angular community there that can help. So I just helped her out. I just gave her instructions of how to organize this. I set up the website for this event, the registration forms. I gave her access to whatever she needed, and it just happened. So this was the most recent one that was in a really remote place on Earth. But we've also had the same in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, and in Colombia. So it just happens everywhere. So we have more and more events. So of course, we can't, I can't be in all of them. And also because they're in all these distant places. But I don't have to be there. I just wanted to get this started so that anyone could organize this by themselves. And I fully support this. And it's like, I love it that it becomes kind of viral. Just like this idea that gets its own wings and spreads its own wings and flies all around the world.
Yeah, it's amazing just how far flung it's been. And I didn't realize that you had done it in all those countries. And that's really exciting.
Oh, thanks.
So with this going on, do you feel like ngGirls is growing beyond you? And what's your plans to deal with that if ngGirls continues to grow and you're involved in fewer and fewer of the events?
Well, I'm still a bit involved in each event because I get to talk to the organizers. But as we're growing, maybe this will also become a bit difficult to talk to everybody. So I really hope that I'll have more people on my team, like Robert, who can help with that, help guide other people how to organize these events. And so this is one thing that I hope will happen as we're growing. And another thing is that people have been asking me about more activities for more experienced women and for maybe different ages, some programs for schoolgirls, or not only for women, even for everybody or for other underrepresented groups. And I've been thinking a lot about that. So I really want to expand our activities into these different domains. It's okay. It's something that I've learned with the years, and especially recently, is like you don't have to be in control of everything all the time. You have to trust other people to do things in a good way, and this philosophy has been working for me in the past few months, or even years, unrelated to ngGirls. I'm really happy to see this growing, just like talking about babies, just like having a baby and supporting him or her in the first years, and then letting the baby just live their lives, do whatever they want to do, and hoping that you've giving them the tools to do so in the first years. So this is the same thing. I'm really, really glad to see how ngGirls is growing and kind of getting out of my control. It's really great.
Need to create a complex enterprise Angular application? Angular Bootcamp is an intensive 3-day workshop class to learn the basics of Angular through sophisticated techniques for real-world applications. We target Angular 6 and the recent versions, with much of the curriculum is suitable back to Angular 2. Or go beyond the 3-day class with a consultation or project launch with Oasis Digital, the team behind Angular Bootcamp. We can assist your team or launch your project with advanced Angular topics including scalability, data flow, state management, full stack product design, and more. Contact us for a private class at your location or buy a ticket for public classes in various cities around the U.S. and occasionally in Europe. Online live instructor training is also available at angularbootcamp.com.
So what are you working on now as far as ngGirls goes? I mean, what's coming next or changing or things like that?
So I've been thinking about, like I said, about programs for more experienced women. So I'm thinking about another workshop day, or maybe half workshop, half lectures, to help women gain more confidence in what they do, and also become speakers, because we don't have a lot of women developers, and we have even less women speakers. So we would like to have more role models as women developers. So if we can see more women on stage, then we can be more confident in our abilities. And so I want to encourage women to get on stage and share their experience and their knowledge. So I'm thinking about programs for helping women do this, build their presentation, and gain more confidence. And actually, there's going to be a conference an Angular conference in Ukraine in August called ng Talks. And as part of this conference, we're actually having 2 days of ngGirls. So the second day is going to be for more experienced women and developers. So I am building the program for this right now. And I would love to hear suggestions and ideas for what to do on the second day.
That sounds really cool. I mean, basically, when you were talking about, teaching us, what was it, change detection and what was it, dependency injection. I think, just start with the big buzzwords, and you should be great from there. Like, make sure all the women in the room understand what these big buzzwords mean, and the code behind them, and then you'll be good to go. So,
yeah. Well, there's a bit more to that, because one of the biggest fears that some women have shared with me of being on stage is to not being able to answer all the questions from the audience. And I believe it's not just women who fear from that, but guys somehow have learned to have enough confidence to look confident enough.
I've been told by guys, by a couple guys in the industry, they're like, I've actually been told this. They're like, yeah, just fake it. Like, if they ask you a question that you don't know, you just have to bluff your way through it and save face. And I was like, did you really just say that? Like, that's because my way, that I've heard before is always admit that you don't know it, or just say, you know what, let's talk about that later, or off stage or something. But they were like, no, you got to bluff your way through it. And I'm like, what? Like,
yeah,
so there are people out there who have that mentality, who aren't just super honest with what they don't know. So
Yeah, so you see, so these guys know what to do, and finally they share it with us girls. So yeah, I've learned from guys. I've had mentors since I've been working with Angular, who have taught me what to do on stage in these kind of situations. Well, what can you do? There, it is a fact that there are more guys who are speaking on stage, so you have to learn from them. So now I want to share this experience with more women, so that they will also know these tricks and will not be afraid. And yeah, and they're being honest, and we have to tell them these methods of how to be confident on stage, how to look confident at least.
Yeah.
I know it's not so simple also for guys. I'm not saying it is to be on stage. I know that also guys have to gain confidence, but since there are more guys on stage at the moment, it's something that you have to like. It affects the audience that's watching. So you can relate more to someone who is more like you. So if a woman sees another woman on stage, then she can feel a bit more comfortable to approach her, to ask her questions, to get inspired by her. So this is what I'm trying to do. Like, I wish that the situation wasn't like that, but it is. And from my experience, programs like this, like Women Who Code, and like programs that are specific for women really do help. They have helped me. You know, you can talk a lot about whether this is right or wrong, but it is helpful in the end. So that's where we're going.
Awesome.
I would love to hear also from you, Alyssa, and Joe, and also Chuck. You were also at ngConf. I don't know if you've been able to see the ngGirls workshop. So how has it been going? And have you heard some reactions from the participants and the mentors?
Well, I was teaching a workshop all day long, so I didn't get to drop in at all on it. But as an organizer, I definitely was very close to what was going on. And I heard nothing but good feedback about it. I heard that the curriculum change to use StackBlitz seemed to be nearly universal success. Everybody who was involved seemed to think that worked out really, really great. I didn't hear anything negative, but we haven't.
I think it got us up and running really fast, which was a relief, because I honestly think we could have spent most of the day like on environment and setup, and then explaining those tools. And I think just they were really excited. The girls I worked with, at least, to like code something, right? Like write something that they saw on screen. And so for me, like anything to decrease that time was a win. I think something that I wanted to see if I could pull it down and swap some things around, though, because the original way that it was written, it walks you through setup and it teaches you that. And so then the first 4 modules that you go through, now that it's all taken care of in StackBlitz, it's just reading. And so the girls around me were like, are we supposed to be coding right now, or are we just reading? And so I kind of skimmed through and I was like, okay, we've got to get to this point where we write the first thing. And so I think, again, that time to writing, that time to actually seeing something on screen, if we could maybe save some explanations for when they're in it, and then be like, okay, so see that thing right there? This is happening. Like, so I think, but I think honestly, it's just because of the StackBlitz rewrite that's needed. Because beforehand, I think they were going through and setting it up themselves, if I'm not mistaken, because this is my first ngGirls. So,
I think another thing that was pretty interesting is the fact that StackBlitz played such a big part of ngConf. They had arguably the most impressive talk that was given, that I think it might have been very interesting or cool for those who participated in ngGirls, if they also either attended or watched later on, to see this and be like, oh, wow, I've learned this. I've worked with this tool, and now I see there's all this hype around it, in a sense that they're potentially using it before a lot of the attendees who've been developing for years and years might have used it.
Yeah, wow, it's amazing to hear. So yes, this is the first time that we've used Stack Blitz, and before that we were sending the installation instructions via email and asked the mentors to help the participants, help their group members beforehand to make sure that they have everything installed and they're running, and up to the point of the Angular CLI application served in the browser. And now we don't have to deal with that with Stack Blitz, which is really great. And I was worried about having the participants that they would have something on their computer that they could continue working on at home and experiencing with. But StackBlitz is great for that because it can work from anywhere. It's just there on the web and you can save your work.
So, right. And you can also like clone it down if you want, like the whole project, if you wanted to like actually start your environment and set it up. But I saved the StackBlitz tab. And when I got home, because like we didn't have time to finish. So I went through and I finished the tutorial because it was bothering me that I didn't finish it. And so I just pulled up the StackBlitz tab, everything was running and saved under my account and it worked perfectly. So at least for someone who after the experience, like went back to it, it was pretty flawless. So I really loved it.
Great. Yeah. And you can also share it and you don't have to deploy the application because it's already running there on the web. So you can share it for others to see and even use because it is a to-do list that can actually save your to-do items. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't able to make it or interact either. I was interviewing the speakers for ngConf it's all up on YouTube now. But anyway, so I had other things going on, but I did make it. And I was able to drop in on the ngGirls at NG Atlanta. And it seemed like a lot of those women who were there and a lot of the mentors and everybody who was involved just really, really got a lot out of it. There were a couple of women there that I just sat down and chatted with for a few minutes, and they were talking about some of the options that it opened up for them just from the standpoint of, I didn't think I could do this, and now I know I can. All the way up to I've taken a couple of classes and I feel like I know what I'm doing now because somebody's here to kind of help me through the parts that are tough. So I think it is a program that makes a difference for people. And, if we can make a net positive impact on the world, I think that's a terrific thing.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thanks. The one in NG Atlanta I also had to miss, and but I'm really, really happy to hear that it went well as well.
Yep.
Sorry, my husband is away, and the baby. I'm here with the baby. Yeah, no, but he's okay. He's participating also. He's been learning Angular since he was he was still in my belly. He's been taking Angular courses and going to conferences, so he's really into this. I think whenever I say the word Angular, he's more relaxed.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have. Oh, we lost Alyssa. She said she had to leave early. I was hoping before she left.
Yeah, I see. Well, we said that this is going to be only just a few minutes about ngGirls, and in the end,
it's all good. I think it's good for people to hear how the program works.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if there's anything I can maybe share the story of how I got into coding, but I kind of talked about it in ngConf last year. I can talk about it again, but besides that, talking about I'm not involved in any real project now since I'm in maternity leave, and I can maybe just say what I generally do these days.
Yeah, well, so I have a show that I do where I kind of get people's story of how they got into code. So we'll get you on my Angular story to go through that. As far as what you're doing now, yeah, why don't you go ahead and fill us in, and then we'll do picks.
Okay, so right now I'm an independent developer and consultant, and I also run Angular courses. Sometimes I'm teaming up with Thoughtrum. That they're really great guys who are also brilliant teachers. So it's really a pleasure to work with them whenever I can. I've been consulting consulting in Angular, mainly in Israel here and at home. And I really love conferences. I enjoy going to conferences. So this has been a lot of what I did last year. And hopefully also this year I'll keep on going and traveling to places in Europe and in the United States and wherever else that I can go to. This time it's going to be a family trip, so it's going to be a very interesting experience to visit the conferences. The next conference that I'm going to is Google I/O, and I hope to see there all the friends of the community and to share more ideas of what to do with Angular, what to do in meetups, how to teach Angular. These are the things that I really love to do. So whenever I have a chance, I'm there.
Awesome.
Yeah. You probably know how it's like when you have a baby and
Yep.
You suddenly don't remember half the things that you used to know. So maybe if you have anything to ask or anything you'd like me to share, to tell you, then that would be great.
So you said that you do consulting. So if people want to hire you for training or development, is there a website that they can go to do that?
Unfortunately, I haven't set up a website yet, a personal website. I've been wanting to work on this for a while, but
I did consulting for 6 years and I never set up a website either, so don't feel bad. Should they just email you then?
Thank you. Yeah, so you can email me, Shmuela at ngGirls.org. And I'm also on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, so you can reach out to me however you'd like. I'm there.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's go ahead and do some picks.
Do you run your own freelance business? Or maybe you're thinking about picking up some business on the side? Well, then you need FreshBooks. FreshBooks is the quickest and easiest way to get invoices out to your clients. It's easy to use. It works anywhere, available from any device on the desktop, iPhone, iPad, Android, and all of your data is backed up and secure. And it makes it really easy to get organized and get paid. You'll be tracking time, logging expenses, and invoicing your clients in no time. You can also save time billing, freeing up several days per month to focus on the work that you love, and you get paid faster. FreshBooks customers are paid on average 5 days faster because there's a link on the invoice that says pay me now. And it's a great way to grow your business. Plus, FreshBooks is offering a 30-day trial. That's right, 30-day trial if you try them out. So go to gofreshbooks.com/devchat and enter devchat in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Once again, for a 30-day trial, go to gofreshbooks.com/devchat and enter devchat in the How Did You Hear About Us section.
Joe, do you want to start us with picks?
Absolutely. I would love to start with picks. I think it would be remiss of me to not pick ngConf since it was just held last week at the time of recording, and everything went awesome. It was a fantastic year, probably our best year yet. So definitely picking ngConf. If you haven't been, you should definitely go next year. If you have been, it keeps getting better and better. So come join us next year. I want to pick one more thing. At ngConf, we played Dungeons and Dragons and some other role-playing games. We actually played Star Trek and Star Wars, and even the My Little Pony role-playing game. We had like 11 tables going on at the same time, and we had a really great time, and a lot of people participated, and everybody said they had a fantastic time. So I want to pick role-playing games in general as well, which I think has been a recent pick of mine. But I think, seeing everybody playing and having fun with each other was really nice for me to see. So those are my picks.
Nice. Joe, we should get together and play some role-playing games sometime soon.
That is a great idea, Chuck. What are you doing Thursday night?
I think I'm playing role-playing games.
Really? You should come do it with me.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in here with a few picks. So I've been kind of cleaning things up, both on my hard drive and just in general in my office. It's kind of been a work in progress, interrupted by conference after conference after conference. But yeah, a few tools that I've been using for that. One is Google Drive. They have this utility that you can install on your computer, and I'm trying to figure out what it's called. But it's a Google Drive utility that syncs all the stuff up to Google Drive, and then it kind of just puts a placeholder on your computer. And so I'm liking that because it's freed up a lot of space on my laptop. The other thing that I've been using a lot of is a ScanSnap. What is this? S1300i, and so it's a really small feed scanner. And it's been really nice for a lot of the receipts and things like that I've been scanning from all the travel. So, yeah, digging that as well. And I'm doing more travel, so it doesn't stop. But that's kind of the deal. And yeah, been enjoying that. Hoping to see Shmuela at some of these events. I see Joe plenty here in Utah. So
way too much, in fact.
I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Soon I'm going to join you also.
There we go. So Shmuela, do you have some things you want to pick?
So I've been watching ngConf in the live stream and also on the YouTube channel with all the talks that have been uploaded. And I've been really, really enjoying the talks. It's very... they go in depth and they're very interesting. And so today, for example, I've been watching a talk about, it's called Superpowered Server Rendered Progressive Native Apps by Nathan Walker and Jeff Welpley. It's just, they have a really cool plugin that I don't know if I should call it a plugin or a tool that they've written above NX, which is written above the Angular CLI, but their application, their demo app, which is not a demo at all, it's a real product. It's amazing, and their talk is so it's so much fun. So just go and see that. I don't want to give any spoilers, so you have to see this. So another pick, if I mentioned the Angular CLI, then a new feature that it has is the schematics. And Manfred Steyer wrote a book about schematics, generating custom Angular code with the CLI. It's on LeanPub, and it's totally free. You can donate, but you can also get the book for free. But even more, it's open source, and you can actually contribute to this book. I think I really believe in that. So really, I recommend this.
Very cool. Well, thanks again for coming and talking to us. It was kind of a nice follow-on to the other episode we did about ngGirls a few weeks ago. So thank you. Thank you for coming. And thanks for all the work you're doing for the community.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And we're all in the community together. It wouldn't have been the same without you also. It's the podcasts, it's the conferences, it's the blog posts, it's everywhere. So so many people are doing such great things, and I'm thankful for all of them. for everybody. You too.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up right there, and we'll catch everyone next week.
Awesome.
Bandwidth for this segment is provided by CacheFly, the world's fastest CDN. Deliver your content fast with CacheFly. Visit CACHEFLY.com to learn more.